At NAINITAL and ALMORA. Person: the Swami Vivekananda, Guru Bhais and disciples. A party of Europeans, amongst whom were Dhira Mata, the steady mother, one whose name was Joya, and Nivedita. Place: the Himalayas. Time: May 11 to May 25, 1898. We were a large party, or indeed 2 parties, that left Howrah station on Wednesday evening and on Friday morning came in sight of the Himalayas. They seemed to rise suddenly out of the plains a few hundred yards away. Nainital was made beautiful by 3 things: the Master's pleasure in introducing to us his disciple, the Raja of Khetri, the dancing girls who met us and asked us where to find him and were received by him in spite of the remonstrances of others, and by the Mohammedan gentleman who said, "Swamiji, if in after times any claim you as an avatar, an especial incarnation of the deity, remember that I, a Mohammedan, am the first." It was here too that we heard a long talk on Ram Mohan Roy, in which he pointed out 3 things as the dominant notes of this teacher's message: his acceptance of the Vedanta, his preaching of patriotism, and the love that embraced the Muslim equally with the Hindu. In all these things, he claimed himself to have taken up the task that the breadth and foresight of Ram Mohan Roy had mapped out. The incident of the dancing girls occurred in consequence of our visit to the 2 temples at the head of the dam, which from time immemorial have been places of pilgrimage, making the beautiful little eye lake holy. Here, offering worship, we found 2 Nauch women. When they had finished, they came up to us, and we, in broken language, entered into conversation with them. We took them for respectable ladies of the town and were much astonished later at the storm which had evidently passed over the Swami's audience at his refusal to have them turned away. Am I mistaken in thinking that it was in connection with these dancing women of Nainital that he first told us the story, many times repeated, of the Nauch girl of Khetri? He had been angry at the invitation to see her, but being prevailed upon to come, she sang, "O Lord, look not upon my evil qualities. Thy name, O Lord, is same-sightedness. Make us both the same Brahman. One piece of iron is the knife in the hand of the butcher, and another piece of iron is the image in the temple. But when they touch the philosopher's stone, both alike turn to gold. One drop of water is in the sacred Jamna, and one is foul in a ditch by the roadside. But when they fall into the Ganges, both alike become holy. So, Lord, look not upon my evil qualities. Thy name, O Lord, is same-sightedness. Make us both the same Brahman." And then, said the Master of himself, the scales fell from his eyes, and seeing that all are indeed one, he condemned no more. And she, whose name is Joya, heard from another of this same visit, when to the assembled women he spoke words of power that moved all hearts, full of love and tenderness, without separation and without reproach. It was late in the afternoon when we left Nainital for Almora, and night overtook us while still traveling through the forest. On and on we went, following the road into deep gullies and out again, round the shoulders of projecting hillsides, always under the shadow of great trees and always preceded by torches and lanterns to keep off bears and tigers. While day lasted, we had seen the rose forests and the maidenhair fern by the spring sides and the scarlet blossoms on the wild pomegranate bushes. But with nightfall, only the fragrance of these and the honeysuckles was left to us, and we journeyed on, content to know nothing save silence and starlight and the grandeur of the mountains, till we reached a quaintly placed dark bungalow on the mountainside in the midst of trees. There, after some time, Swamiji arrived with his party, full of fun and keen in his appreciation of everything that concerned the comfort of his guests, but full before all of the poetry of the weird night scenes without, the coolies by their fires and the neighing houses, the poor man's shelter near, and the whispering trees and solemn blackness of the forest. From the day that we arrived at Almora, the Swami renewed his habit of coming over to us at our early breakfast and spending some hours in talk. Then and always, he was an exceedingly light sleeper, and I imagine that his visit to us, early as the hour might be, was often paid during the course of his return with his monks from a still earlier walk. Sometimes, but rarely, we saw him again in the evening, either meeting him when out for a walk or going ourselves to Captain Saviour's, where he and his party were staying, and seeing him there. And once he came at that time to call on us. Into these morning talks at Almora, a strange new element, painful but salutary to remember, had crept. There appeared to be on one side a curious bitterness and distrust, and on the other imitation and defiance. The youngest of the Swami's disciples at this time, it must be remembered, was an English woman, and of how much this fact meant intellectually, what a strong bias it implied and always does imply in the reading of India, what an idealism of the English race and all their deeds and history. The Swami himself had had no conception till the day after her initiation at the monastery. Then he had asked her some exultant question as to which nation she now belonged to, and had been startled to find with what a passion of loyalty and worship she regarded the English flag, giving to it much of the feeling that an Indian woman would give to her Thakur. His surprise and disappointment at the moment were scarcely perceptible. A startled look, no more. Nor did his discovery of the superficial way in which this disciple had joined herself with his people in any degree affect his confidence and courtesy during the remaining weeks spent in the plains. But with Almora, it seemed as if a going to school had commenced, and just as schooling is often disagreeable to the taught, so here, though it cost infinite pain, the blindness of a half view must be done away. A mind must be brought to change its center of gravity. It was never more than this, never the dictating of opinion or creed, never more than emancipation from partiality.